Well, good evening, YouTube. This is the Bass Piper. Welcome back to the Bass Piper channel. I know it's been a few minutes since I have been on, probably about 3 weeks or more, almost a month. But Bass Piper has been busy in my new shop, the garage, that has been turned over to a leather shop. And I have been working on some projects and trying to stay abreast of some things that I'm trying to learn and do. I'm going to show you a few things that I've been doing and tell you about some hopefully exciting adventure that I'll be going into as well with leather crafting. But I don't have anything that I'm smoking tonight, so this is just going to be me and the leather goodies and that I'm getting into. But I just want to come on here and just take a few minutes and show you some things that I have been doing. I've been tinkering around with some leather, and I've been making some what they call knife pancake holsters. A lot of people like those, so you don't have to carry, if you carry like a folding knife, a buck knife, folding knife, case knives, those kinds of things. Instead of carrying them around your pocket, a lot of guys like to wear them on their belt. Let me show you one of them that I done, and you can kind of see what's going on there, what it looks like. But here's one of them that I did. I don't know if you can see that or not up there. I'm trying to block the view and hold it at the same time. And on the back, looks like that. And you can put your knives in it. These are made out of cant, so when you wear them on your belt, they'll be more like that instead of straight up. And so I'm working on some new ones. I'm just started with these, haven't finished them yet. These are in the making. This is for a gentleman that I'm making one for. Just put his initial in there. And this is another one I just put my initial in there because I want to make another one for me with another color. And a lot of people like to see the different colors and things and different dyes. But Bass Piper has been busy trying to get things set up for the shop. My top I showed you a few weeks ago has got even more stuff on it. I mean, I've got a train wreck on this. In fact, let me just show you real quick. You can see, if you can see all of this here. If I can get a wide angle shot here, you can kind of see I got junk everywhere. And right over here, guys, if you see those red toolboxes, right beside it is where I'm waiting to get a new tool cabinet, a rolling tool cabinet, so that I can put all of my stuff in and clear off these. I got 2 tables back here that I'm gonna clear all this off so I can have stages. This table is basically was going to be designed for the cutting table and just have cutting stuff on here. And I'm looking at possibly back here making this the pounding station, so to speak, when I got to drive the chisels through the leather to make the stitching holes and all of that. Trying to do it on this tabletop, everything just vibrates and bounces. And over in this corner over here, you can't probably see it, but I got a lathe over here on this one. Is going to be more of the finishing where I'll do some of the dyeing and stuff like that. Unless I've got the long belts, I'll have to make them on the other side of this table. But I've been doing stuff with coasters and things of that nature. This kind of gives you an idea of what Bass Piper has been doing. You can see that. And you can see they're not just the slender ones, they're the thick ones. These things that I do will last you a lifetime. And the key fobs, you can see the key fobs that I've done. And these are the thicker ones. Of course, it just shows you if you can see that in the back. It kind of gives you get the right light here in there. Well, I got my keys hanging on it. But just some things that I've been doing. I've been tinkering with belts. And just trying to get a hang for some stuff and learning some stamping and throwing away some projects and when things didn't stamp right. One thing that I've noticed with the leather is that it's like a lot of things you do. You only get one shot at it, and if you mess up, you mess up, and you chunk that into trash because it ain't gonna work. In fact, you can see this is my first knife holster that I made. I'll show you right here if you can see it, guys. You see this little piece right up in here? That happened when I bought an 1 3/4 oblong punch. Those of y'all don't know what an oblong punch looks like. It looks like this right here. But an 1 3/4, a bigger one like that to match the belt holes. The only problem is I got one from C.S. Osborne. C.S. Osborne, if anybody knows anything about C.S. Osborne, they're a big guru in the leather crafting and makes all these high steel punches and all of that. Well, I bought one off of Amazon because I couldn't find one at my regular leather places that I went to. And it didn't matter because they've got an issue. And that is when you take one of those, now you got to realize an 1 3/4 punch, they're $80 for one punch. One punch. You take it out of the box, you put it on your project. You're going to make your belt holes. And you come down, pow, with that thing to make that hole. Nothing budges. Pow, 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 pow. Nothing's budging. And what happened was, because of this table, it was, as soon as I went about the 5th or 6th strike, it started to shift on me. And that's what made those little spots in the leather, and I couldn't get them out. So this one became mine because it wasn't perfect. But come find out, I get on the blower on the phone to C.S. Osborne and talk to the guy in New Jersey. And he said, well, sir, he said, what we do is we only make our punches, what did he call it? Factory sharp. Factory sharp. I told him, I said, my friend, I paid $80 for one punch. I don't know what your factory sharpness is, but said this thing won't cut through a piece of paper or butter. I said, I've screwed up one of my first projects on this because the thing kept bouncing. I said, I had to hit this thing 20 times to try to get the holes through it. I said, that is ridiculous. I said, this thing ought to come out razor sharp that all I got to do is blow on it and it'll cut through the leather. I said, I'm going through 7-ounce leather. I'm not going through 13-ounce leather, but even at that, it ought to blow through it. This little one here that I got off of Amazon by Ivan, it's a little 1 1/8 that I'm using for my belts to put the holes in the belt for your buckle. And man, that thing there goes through just like butter. Come find out, they're pulling a lot of C.S. Osborne's punches, and people are getting upset because they're having the same complaint I did. So brand new out of the box, and screwed up my project. But luckily I was able to save it and just kind of fudge it and play with it. And the magic of when you mess up something in leather, this was actually brown. As far as a medium brown, kind of like the brown of my mallet here, you know, kind of like that kind of brown. And so I just used a chocolate brown on it that turned it almost black, but it is a real dark brown, but it kind of hides and covers up the mistake. But anyway, Bass Piper's been busy with the leather ordeal and learning different aspects of things. But the cool thing is we have a good friends of ours that have been visiting our church, and she is into rodeo. She sells cowboy boots and hats and all kinds of stuff, and they go to about 4 or 5 events every year for the rodeos. And so she's wanting to get with me, and we're going to look at teaming up possibly with doing some leather goods for the Western rodeos. So these types of things will probably come in handy. I got to look at making some belts with some Western flair to them. I'm not going to get a lot into carvings and that type of thing, mainly because base piper just don't have the time to fool with that and to learn it. I'll probably do some stampings, and as you can see with this here, I did a little bit of design on that and put my initial on it, and I've made some more coasters with our last name Carrier, put a C on there, just to have them laying around the house in case somebody asks. I've got some done in the brown stitching, I've got some done in yellow or red, whatever the case may be, just to kind of show different combinations. But, you know, we're looking forward to maybe getting a little busy with that and kind of keeping it simple, stupid, simply because of time's sake. And so when she said, hey, I need you maybe to make up some belts, I didn't realize that, you know, you got to end up making probably about 40 belts, about 20 to 25 belts. If you do a waist of 28 all the way to 48, let's just say, that's 20 belts. Every 2 inches, you have 20 belts. And so if you just do 2 a piece, that's 40 belts right there. So it takes a little while to put those together. The other thing about doing all the carving and all the stuff and painting, and it's beautiful stuff, but the problem is most people are not going to buy it because you got to charge out the gazoo for stuff like that. And I mean, you know, I've seen a belt. It's got a nice, you know, Sheridan flowers, you know, designs and stuff all through it, Western look, $400 for a belt. You know, for most people, they're not going to drop. It looks beautiful, but it'll take, you got to find the right rich folks to buy that kind of stuff. And so for me to take up all that time, it's easier to go ahead and knock out decent belts, keep little simple lines in them and do some things maybe like the quilted look type design or something in it, or what they call the gunslinger design with stitching or something like that. But to really get into a lot of carving, guys, it's, you know, I admire the people that can do it, but just for me and my lifestyle right now, I just don't have no time to do it. And here on these little things right here, you see where the C is, I can put a design, you know, in here or whatever and keep like maybe a geometric design or even something like the quilted thing. But just stuff that I can turn over because I don't have hours just to sit there and knock out a design. So anyway, things have been coming along pretty good, guys. And this is why I haven't been on for a few weeks. Just been trying to get acclimated, and everything that I start to do, I find out, man, I got to have another tool. You know, we have pipe acquisition disorder and tobacco acquisition disorder. But buddy, when you get into leather, you have leather tool acquisition disorder. And you have just leather acquisition disorder because you got to have leather to make the products. And believe me, they don't give the leather away. So you learn how to start off on more of the imports and the cheaper stuff that when you screw something up, you know, when you do something like this key fob right here that was done out, and you fold them over, and you glue them and you stitch them and you put the things on it. But see, as you can see, when you are trying out different borders and stuff, you learn what to do first and what to do second, or you end up with stuff like that looks like poo-poo because the borders and stuff, the D was in the way for me to go. I should have put the borders in. The borders were a little bit bigger than what I thought, then put the initial on it. So that right there is junk. But what I'm doing with these is I'm going to keep this one so that I can make a template. And now I can just cut these out. And I don't have a clicker press where I can just pop them out like a cookie cutter. And so anyway, we've been learning, and it's coming along. I want to be making some of the pipe holders. Most of you guys have probably got some of those, just the little bands. You fold it, snap them, and you got a pipe holder. I've got valet trays. I'm going to be making those. And in fact, I'm going to be looking at doing the wet mold valet trays with some of those as well, instead of just the ones with the snaps. I mean, I know the snaps are nice where you can roll them up, you know, in a pouch. But some guys like them with just the mold look. And so maybe put a flat insert inside with some decoration or whatever on there. So anyway, we're just trying our hand at it, guys. The biggest thing that I'm learning is, like I said before, it's just learning to cut stuff out. Believe me, if you've never tried it, if you get a hold of just a scrap piece of leather, especially about a belt thickness, about a 9 or 10 ounce piece of leather, try cutting something out with that. Etch you a little design and then take a knife or a box cutter and try to cut it out. You'll see it's a different ball game. What I've learned about belts is, instead of doing a 10 or 12 ounce of leather, trying to cut and punch, and when you are punching, oh, let me see here, when you're punching and using one of these punches right here for stitches, and you pop those things in there, they go in fine. Try to get them out. And so, I mean, you end up with both feet on the table, and this thing is, you know, I got to put gloves on, latex gloves, to be able to get a grip, because all that's metal and your hands just slide right off of it, but you can't get a grip. And so you're not supposed to do this to get, but you have to, because what you're doing is you're reaming out those holes and making them a lot bigger to try to get that thing out of there. So, tricks of the trade. And what you do, if you want like a 10 ounce belt, get you 2 5 ounce pieces. And then what they do, a lot of them, is use a liner inside the belt. You have 5 ounces on top, 5 ounces on the bottom. Do a fake stitch. Do a stitch all the way around. But when you come together with your belt, glue them together. That way, what's in your skin or up against your body when you put your belt in, your pants, so to speak, is the smooth, but it's 5 ounces. Or you can do a 7 ounce for the top and do a 3 ounce for the liner, what they call the liner. And that gives you the thickness without you know, if you don't have a sewing machine or something like that to handle 10 and 12 ounce leather, trying to do that stuff by hand, the stitching's not the problem. It's the punching the holes that's the problem. And so you got to learn how to do things. And what I call a fake stitch is it's just on the top surface. It's not going through the liner. You're gluing the liner onto the belt. But you know, with contact cement, I mean, that stuff's on there through the ages. But anyway, these are little tricks that you learn, and I've been trying to learn. And you screw up a few things, and you know, that just comes with the territory, that you got to bite the bullet. You're going to throw away a little bit of money. And I've got two, reach over here. Got these 2 belts right here. I got 2 of them wrapped up here I'm going to be working on. And all this is Vegetan leather. And talking about the liners, these are the liners. But you see this, how thick this one is? I can get it in there. You can kind of see if I can get the focus. And this will go inside the belt to thicken it up. Why do you want to do that, Bass Piper? Well, because when you the belts that I make is the type of belts, as you hear people say, you buy once and you cry once, but you have it for a lifetime. And the big thing that I'm learning, I'm going to be, as I start learning these rodeos and going to these rodeos, I'm going to sell some belts, sell some pancake holsters, maybe some key fobs, some different things. I want to feel the market and see what they like. And next year, I'm going to get prepared for next spring and summer. This spring and summer, I'm just going to spectate and help our friends with her table and just feel the market. And just trying to get a side hustle going. And but the reason why you want the thicker belts, one is if you carry a gun and you carry a concealment, you don't have them flopping. They're good, sturdy belts. These things, well, you know, you've heard people put leather warranties a lifetime. If you go to Saddleback Leather and listen to Dave's stuff, and you know, he says they'll fight over it when you're dead. He puts a 100-year warranty on his stuff, 100 years. But if you see the stuff he makes it out of, you can see why it lasts. But the stuff people don't realize, I'm finding out, is when you are a leather crafter, you get into leather, Why can't I just go to, I can go to Walmart and buy 4 belts to your 1 belt. Yeah, but the problem is they're not the same. I use, like a lot of other crafters, we're using top grain, full grain leather, not that genuine, or some people want to say genuine leather. Genuine leather is junk. We've been taught that it was good, but you don't see the junk that's inside that leather, how they fudge it. Full grain, top grain is basically the same. It's the top of the hide. It's the best. Your Herman Oaks, your Wickett and Craigs, these kind of people that, you can buy and import a cheaper leather, say a side of a cow. Okay, it takes up the whole table here. For maybe $170, $180. You buy Wickett and Craig, you buy Herman Oak leather, the good, really good stuff. Made here in America, got American cows. And you're going to pay for the same thing around $300 and some for a side. So, you figure, guys, people look at these and you go, wow, Base Piper, you're selling these for, $30 or whatever. Well, you got to remember, everything is handmade. All this is done. All the stitching, these did it. All the gluing, all the stitching, all the putting the holes in it, all the dyeing, all the top coatings, everything was done by hand, not a machine. These right here, that's all, that design just didn't pop in there. And the only thing I used the tool for was my stamp for my W. I got a stamping set. But all the burnishing, everything's done by hand. Burnishing, this one little tool right here that you coat over and over and over again, and you're trying to burnish this stuff, get the shine, get it all smooth. It's all by hand, it's not by machine. This is not Kmart and Walmart and Target stuff. And so people are trying to help them educate themselves with stuff, they appreciate, guys selling a little minimalist wallet, guys. Holds 3 cards, and on the back, maybe a place for your license. And in the middle, just the middle, it's got a little thing where you can fold some cash. This thing ain't no bigger than probably about that big. $80, because you got to figure the time and the labor and the leather and the tools and these guys that are in full time, they got to have markup for profit, or they're not in business. And so the one good advantage that I have is I don't have overhead. I just have my garage. I'm only charging, probably double my materials when I sell, and it probably do about a 1.125 markup on my stuff off my materials and things that I have. I'm not charging my labor or anything. So labor hourly rate's not even in there. It's just take your materials, double it and add a 1.25 in there, and you got it. But even at that, people go, man, I can, especially with belts, they don't get it until they have to look at it and feel it, and you educate them on it. So these are things that, you live and you learn, and you do. But I've come to take a better appreciation for these guys that do leather and woodworking as well. When you got a one-man shop or something like that, and my gosh, you go on the website or you start a website, man, orders start coming in. Now I can understand when I had a holster made several years ago. A gentleman that's on YouTube had made, his name is Sam, I can't remember his last name, but a nice guy. He makes all the holsters, and I got a shoulder holster set for my Colt 45. And it was 6 to 8 weeks. He would put on his website, I'm a one-man show, I'm 6 to 8 weeks out. So, these are the reasons why. You can only work but so fast. And with me, it's even slower because I don't have a sewing machine, and I don't have certain clicker machines that I can expedite things and run it through a sewing machine. I'm doing this. So you take a belt that's about 48 inches long, or 50. man, that's a lot of stitching going down and then turning around and coming back up. And so, you don't realize any of this stuff till you're in it. So anyway, I done ratchet jawed enough, guys. My next video, to all my new supporters, thank you so much. I'm going to get the shout out video done. And I was going to do it tonight, but I said, yeah, let them know why I've been missing. I've been dealing with leather and spending money like I'm Donald Trump. But this stuff, to get into it, man, it's like anything else. You got a startup cost. And then you're making products that you then hope you can sell, or else I'll be eating a lot of these, and so or belts. And so that's why I want to feel out what I need to do so I don't do too much. But these are cool. These are cool things. And for those of y'all that carry little pocket knives, EDC, I'm going to be making also, once I get the patterns for it, there's also a little EDC you can wear on your belt to take your knife, take a flashlight, and maybe a Leatherman cutter, something like that. Just some basic EDC stuff. A lot of guys are into that. I'm trying to fill the market for wallets. So I want to do some wallets. Some of them are more, everybody's going to more of the minimalist wallets, the big bifold, trifold back in the 70s day. They're there, but they're Roper wallets, the longer ones. It's got about 18 slots for credit cards. You got some, but everybody's credit cards, man. There ain't much cash going. And it's once we go cashless one day, and it's coming, it will be even more minimalist. Just, grab about a 3 or 4 card slot and let that be it. So I'm trying to get a feel of what to make for the market and what people might like. So we're trying our hand with a little bit of everything, tinkering with small items. I probably will be a while before I venture into bags and purses or, those kind of things. I'll be staying on wallets, key fobs, pancake holsters for knives, the traveler notebooks covers, portfolio covers, things of that nature, and doing a little stamping and a little tinkering, but nothing major. And just getting my dyes down and learning how to set up different shadings and different things of that nature. So anyway, guys, I'm going to get on off of here. It's been 27 minutes. Love you guys. Thank you for your support. And we are out there steadily trying to get this stuff together. Church is going good. And we got a new couple started to visit last couple of weeks. And thank the Lord, she can play a piano. And she plays a piano. So thank the Lord for that. And it sure does beat a cappella all the time. And you have a live service now that you can start. But we've started our outreach and started the last couple of weeks putting out door hangers and things, inviting folks to church. So we got a busy time. And now I'm involved with in the leather crafting. So anyway, thank you for your support. All my new supporters, love you guys. Keep hanging in there, and even my older guys and a few gals, if there's any left, that's been hanging over the years with Bass Piper. But I will get a shout out. Next one is going to be a shout out. In fact, I might try to squeeze it in this week or this weekend. So until we meet again, relax, have your pipe or your stogie, and don't forget the many blessings of God that He bestows on us each and every day. We'll talk with you all later. Bye-bye.